I don't know, Prithviraj, what to say to you, except that cinema has always taken a step ahead from the Malayalam world when it comes to Sir, and now you with film. And I'm taking this moment to share that we really, really were immersed in that world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Just the weight of doing a film of this magnitude with somebody who is 𝐂𝐻𝐿 himself. Just asking you, does that give you the jibbies? I know this is the third time aap unko. Has it eased down over the 3 films, or has it gotten tougher aapke liye?
Directing a film is never easy. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of decision making. It's constant, thought process on putting together a giant film, especially when you're doing something like this. But when we got together and decided that we are going to follow the huge success of Lucifer with a second part to what has always been conceived as a trilogy by Mr. Murali Gopi, the writer sitting here, I knew deep down that for the second part of the franchise, the ideation and the conception that I had in mind is going to be extremely challenging to pull off as just a Malayalam film. Because the scale at which we have attempted this and the canvas against which the story needs to be told is really the deep end of the waters for our industry. We have not tried to do something like this before. So there is nothing for us to fall back on. Very much like Sazai Kalapani, like Sir did so many years ago. We really didn't have a precedent to look upon and learn what could go wrong or what is the right way to do it. We didn't know. I remember 2022, I think, I flew to Sir's office in Dubai, and that's where I gave him my first narration of this film, of Empuraan. And 50% of my heart was telling me, he's going to listen to the narration. My producer, Mr. Anthony Perumbavoor, is also there. And they're going to very politely tell me, listen, fantastic, great to be dreaming like this, but you'll have to let go of this one because it's not going to be possible. But as soon as I finished the narration, he told me, we are doing this, now let's go for dinner. So that confidence is what really spurred me on. And then I remember all through the dinner, it was me reminding him, but you realize, right? I mean, this is like, so I kept telling him, but you realize this, I need to travel to 6 countries. I said, yeah. And this is like this, yeah. And we have the sequence where there's, the helicopter, that. And he said, yeah. So the confidence that himself and Mr. Anthony Perumbavoor gave me is the reason why we are all sitting here today. Secondly, see, with people like Mr. Gokulam Gopalan backing us, thankfully Malayalam cinema is today at a place where we can think of big budgets and big canvases because people like him who are truly passionate about cinema, right from, I don't know if you know of a film called Parashiraja with the great Mammootty sir leading it. Mr. Gopalan used to think of films like that back then, which was again unheard of in Malayalam in terms of its budget, its scale. But he used to do it because he believed in it with conviction and he truly loved cinema as an art form and a medium. So budgets are now maybe accessible for us with people like him backing projects like these. Where we used to fail, I believe, as an industry is in setting up a structure where we can then bring our cinema to people across the country and across the world. Malayalam always has had an illustrious heritage of making fantastic cinema, but I think we were lacking, and I've said this to my friends in the Mumbai media before, where we were lacking is our ability to properly go through an exhibition network and bring it to theaters across the country and across the world, which has been evolving at a frenetic pace, thankfully, recently, which is where people like my dear friend, Mr. Anil Tadhani, comes into the equation, because he has one of the strongest distribution networks in the country, and thanks, Anil, again, for that one midnight phone call from me, and just saying, yeah, okay, Prithvi. And, I promise that Malayalam cinema will now continuously be bugging you. But it's really kind of him to show the kind of faith that he has in this film and in me. And, it means a lot to us that when we make a film with such aspirations from one part of the country, and we dream of being able to take it to every corner of the country and the world, that distributors like himself, like companies with such heritage like AA Films, then put their conviction on us and throw their weight behind us and tell us, now let's go all out. You know, that's what really matters. That's been the change, actually. That's where we have really sort of started flourishing as an industry. So there is Anil for North. There's very dear friends of mine, Hombale for Karnataka. And Gopalan sir is distributing it himself in Tamil Nadu. And Andhra Telangana, again, a close friend of mine, Mr. Dil Raju, is distributing it. And in Kerala, of course, we have the market leaders, Ashirvad Cinemas. And across the world, from the UAE GCC to North America to Europe to Asia Pacific, we have managed to tie up with absolutely top-rated, top-of-the-line leading distributors to bring this film to theaters across the world. So I really hope that this becomes a very accessible piece of cinema for everyone around the world. And if that is indeed the case, and if this will then go on to hopefully do well and set a benchmark, this could be the beginning of a lot of things for Malayalam cinema, which in turn would mean a lot of things for our overall aspiration of eventually amalgamating into this giant Indian film industry. So let's hope we're on the right direction.
That's beautiful, but what you see as a vision and how you've actually taken it. After GOAT, it must have been a challenge because physically you were actually nurturing an injury and you had the physicality of your own involvement in this one. How did you toy it all? And I believe the love of fans is what has helped you through.
So, yeah, I mean, just before beginning to shoot this film, I was wrapping up another film as an actor. And I got seriously injured while shooting an action sequence. And I had to go through a really complicated knee surgery. And anyone who's done a complex ACL, meniscus, PCL surgery will know that the rehabilitation recovery process is quite complex and it's very challenging on your mind, especially for someone like me who's very physically active and out there and very busy. It's very challenging. So I was at my rock bottom, and I truly believe the reason why I'm back at 100% today is because I forced myself to start shooting this film. And guess what? The first schedule we shot at minus 12 degrees Celsius at 12,300 feet above sea level in Ladakh. No oxygen, bitingly cold, and one of the most challenging sequences to pull off for the entire film. But I think what happened was when I started shooting the film and I got involved with it, it really sort of pulled me through and it kept me motivated and it kept me wanting to go back to set, and I was really thrilled about what was happening in front of me on the monitor. So I think I should really thank Mohanlal sir, my producers, and the fact that this film happened at that particular time, because it really helped with my rehabilitation, I think. It was like my personal doctor. Yeah.
It was the boost that you needed to feel like the magic of being behind the camera to direct, sir.
Yes.
Tell me honestly, do you still feel like the fanboy, directing him, being an absolute legend of an actor yourself, just to...
Promise you, there really isn't a Malayali who's not a Mohanlal or a Mammootty fan. Yeah, I mean, there really isn't. So these two gentlemen are no longer just actors or stars for us. They are deeply ingrained into our systemic cultural thinking. So for any Malayali, yeah, I mean, we might just sit across a coffee table and argue about who's better. Oh no, he does comedy better, he does that better, he does this better. But these two guys, we love them. And there really isn't a Malayali who will go back and say that I'm not a fan of Mammootty and Mohanlal. We all are.
You have traveled the length and breadth of this world to get the right places. I believe you did the recce yourself. What has been a favorite spot? You actually went there, saw what you wanted. आपके लिए कोई एक favorite जगह रही है, and that memory that you want to share with us?
I mean, I'm not going to claim that I did it all by myself. I had a wonderful team. My team of assistants and my production design team, my cinematography team. I've said this before. The team that worked with me in Lucifer and the second part of Lucifer, which is this film, Empuraan, I honestly, truly believe is a team that is good enough to pull off a project of any magnitude in any industry, in any place in the world. So I'm lucky, I'm blessed to have a team that backs me that way. And for this film, I was especially lucky to have a group of wonderful actors who understood my film, who understood what Murali is written, who comprehended each moment of the character arc themselves, and gave me absolutely stunning performances. A lot of them are sitting here. Abhimanyu and Shubhangi, Nikhat, so many of them, Aishwarya, so many of them are sitting here. Behzad, all these guys, I don't know how, I'm assuming these guys are familiar to you because they're all from the Hindi film industry. I'm going to put my head out there and say that I'm proud of the fact that a lot of these guys, if they ask them which is your best performance over the last few years, I think they might pick this film because they're all that good in the film. So yeah, I was blessed with a wonderful team. But yes, when we set out to do this film, I was very particular that I'm not going to make this a green mat film. I will not make this a studio film. I had decided long back that I'm not going to have my actors stand in front of a green mat and shoot the scenes like that. And that's one of the first things I told Mohanlal sir also, that I want to go to real locations, actual filming locations, and capture everything in real. So which then meant that because of how the film is written and because of how the story traverses, I had to spend a very long time in finding these locations, which took me almost 2 years of traveling across the world. If I had to pick one favorite location of all that I shot this film in, I think both sir and me, we loved Santa Fe in New Mexico. We shot quite a few elaborate sequences in the US. And of all the locations in the US that we traveled to, I think Santa Fe in New Mexico was very, very inspiring for a filmmaker because that's how the place looks. Plus, yeah, I mean, that's very close to the Oppenheimer site. So Oppenheimer had just released, or was about to release, and all the hype was about that film when we landed in Santa Fe. So we got to go around and see the place and all that. So that's a memory that I'll carry.
Thank you so much. I'm going to move on to our producer, sir. She's Gokulam.